meeting, Mr. Graham, would you please give the steps for the special assessment district and what this meeting is about tonight?
Yes, thank you. And the clerk, Ms. Hirschberger, will explain the details here in a little bit, the numbers, the dollars, and all of that, which is what you're going to be primarily interested in, I'm sure. But I've listened to what you said, and I am sorry that the things are the way they are. But yes, the road commission is in charge of these roads. They determine how they're repaired. They determine if they are fixed or not fixed and what priority they are. And unfortunately, and I live in a subdivision, unfortunately, subdivision roads are in the lower end of the priority, and it's based entirely upon traffic. So those roads that get the most traffic, they get the most road work out of the county. There really isn't enough money for road repairs. A lot of these roads were built at the same time way back when. They're all deteriorating at the same time. It's a statewide problem. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know there will have to be some answer because, as Ms. Tinneberry indicated, the Road Commission doesn't receive funds. They only can pay out what they receive, and they don't receive enough funds to pay for these sort of repairs. So, somewhere along the line, way back when, believe it or not, this must have been a problem because they passed laws to allow for these special assessments. And even though there should be some state or county expenditure of money to take care of these roads, some people, it just gets to the point where you can't wait. And so they have set up this process of special assessments. Now, there are two ways for special assessments for these roads to go forward. One is that the township would initiate it on its own, and the other is when it's initiated by a petition by the people that are affected. This community primarily, and I think rightfully so, moves forward only on petitions that are, for the most part, petitions that are filed by the people, the property owners. And so that is what starts the process. In other words, the process isn't started by the township, it is started by the people who live in the neighborhood. And I would say that we wouldn't be getting to this point, which is the second or one of the final parts of the process, where we are establishing the role. Establishing the role means how much is going to be assessed, or let's say no more than will be assessed against the properties. And that usually is based on an equal parcel basis in a subdivision because parcels are more or less, lots are more or less the same size. And so to get to this point, there must have been a majority of your neighbors that were in favor of this to get this far. And I know it's hard for those that are against it, and I know it's hard for those that are philosophically opposed to paying more money over and above the taxes that they pay. But this is the reality of how to get your roads fixed, and there have been a lot of roads fixed in this township through this process. And while it's hard to take, it's hard to swallow, you do get the job done. The township is, and I've heard this said earlier tonight, is the facilitator. They take in the petition, they act on it, they process it, and the road commission will act upon the township's actions to approve this sort of improvement. And so that's the process. And I'm sure somebody asked, well, how can we approve something what we don't know because it hasn't been bid? Well, the whole idea there is if the bid would come back at some very grossly extravagant amount, then they wouldn't go forward. They would go back to the drawing board. So, and I'm sure these numbers are going to be explained by Ms. Hirschberger here in a minute, but that's the process. And many roads in this community have been fixed this way. While it's It's something we wish we didn't have to do. It unfortunately is the reality, and that's how we get these roads fixed. And you've seen it across the township. I'm sure you go to other subdivisions and you see it being done. Lewiston is an older subdivision, and the roads were built a long time ago. And like I say, these roads are deteriorating. Now, with respect to the freeway argument and the speed bumps and all of that, you know, the way subdivisions are built now and the way they're designed, we don't allow those long, straight thoroughfares anymore. But unfortunately, way back when we did, and it does lead to speeding. I get that. It does lead to a dangerous situation. And I would agree with what Mr. Frederick said, that we have contract deputies here, and if we suggest that they set up some enforcement in the area, possibly the word will get around to slowing down. Hopefully not. Hopefully none of you will get a ticket, but if we do that. So so I think that is a possibility. I know it happened in the subdivision that I lived in, but so again, we wish we wouldn't have to do this. A majority of your neighborhood has decided this is the way to go, probably because, like Mr. Galdine said, the roads are so bad, you have to do something. You can sit and say, well, let's wait for the laws to change, let's wait for the legislature to do something. And you just wait, and the roads just get worse and worse, and people get hurt, and vehicles get damaged. So this is where we are. And I would like to turn it over to, unless anybody has any questions, I'd turn it over to Ms. Hirschberger, who I'm sure will give you the dollars and cents that you want to hear.